besides Walker Kessler, besides Nick Richards, are there any potential other trade targets that the Knicks could go after? Well, Fred Katz from The Athletic thankfully wrote an entire article about this and broke it all down. So we're going to cover a little bit of that so you can get an idea of other big men that potentially the Knicks could go after. Shout out to Fred Katz for giving us the following information. The Atlanta Hawks seem to have one too many big men after trading for Larry Nance Jr. and holding on to Onyeka Okongwu and Clint Capella in the process. But Capella makes $22.3 million. $22.3 million. Let me stop you right there, folks. I don't have to finish all of that to say this. I don't want Clint Capella. He makes too much. I'm not trying to pay luxury tax for Clint Capella. No, thank you. And for a one-year rental, no, thank you. I don't care what you want to say about his offense, walking double-double, better than Mitch. You can take that over there. I'm not trading anything with Atlanta to get Clint Capella. The only thing they had that I wanted is gone. It was DeJounte, and he's left. He's gone. I don't want anything from them anymore. I don't care who they have. I don't want the Knicks to make a trade with the Hawks again for now. They have no big man that the Knicks should give up anything at all to get. But we'll continue here just to give you the full scope of the article. For the Knicks to get on like a guy like Clint Capella, if they wanted to trade for him, they need to include at least one important rotation player. The only trade-eligible Knicks who makes more than Capella this season would be off the table in a trade for him. It's Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and Mikal Bridges. And then you have Nikola Vucevic, an offensive slanted big man who makes a similar amount, and he does not fit the model of the Knicks and what they would want to run. So as we see here, guys, there are other big men available. You guys have been asking, all comments, it's been basically telling me, Troy, if they're not going to get Kessler, if they're not going to get Richards, couldn't they go after other big men? Definitely via the trade market. They could do that, but the options even there wouldn't make sense. We're talking about Vucevic. Does Vucevic make sense for the Knicks and what they're trying to run? Because offensively, sure, he'll help you there. Defensively, what is he doing? He just stands there. He doesn't do anything. So defensively, I don't want to see him. Thanks, but no thanks. And like we just said, even for the Knicks to swing a trade to get Clint Capella on this team. By the way, I don't want Clint Capella on this team. I would think many people don't want Clint Capella on this team. But even if we wanted to get a player like him or somebody at his level that makes a similar amount, if we wanted to do that, we'd have to give up one of the core pieces. You think the Knicks are going to do that after protecting the core to get Mikal Bridges? It doesn't make sense. So no, they're not going to trade with Atlanta because Atlanta doesn't have any pieces that they want right now. They're not going to trade with Chicago because Vucevic does not fit the style of play that the Knicks are running right now. So maybe there's another team out there. Maybe another team out there that the Knicks can target a big man on. And that other team potentially is, of course, the Detroit Pistons. And according to Fred Katz of The Athletic, he states the Detroit Pistons will pick up if you call them about Isaiah Stewart, whose 4-year, $64 million extension kicks in this season. But like with Williams and Carter, it would take the Knicks parting with a valuable rotation player to acquire him. And while Stewart plays hard, is physical, and played out of position for much of last season, New York may not want to give up core pieces for him. Detroit, Isaiah Stewart, he's a good big man. He fits. He's great. Oh, wait, he's about to get paid. Oh, wait, if I have to trade for him, I have to give up a significant role player, a significant piece that I don't want to have to give up. That role player, by the way, might have to be Dante or Josh if you wanted to do that. That's the only type of money that would make sense there. And if you're the Knicks, you're laughing at that because that would make no sense. You're not going to do it. So we're going to move on. What other teams potentially could the Knicks look at for other trade targets? We're going to get to free agents, but the reason we haven't got the free agents is because that list is so small, it's just a slide. Well, let's keep it going here. What other teams? Another team to look at in terms of a potential trade target for the Knicks is going to be the Blazers. According to Fred Katz, New York could hit up the Blazers about one of their other centers, Duop Reath, a second-year big man who makes $2 million. Reath can stretch to three-point arcs, and it's not also clear if he's ready to have a consistent role on a title contender. But that three-point shot that he has, and he can stretch the floor, that makes him a potential get for the Knicks. Might the Knicks prefer Achiuwa, whom they already know fits their culture and system, and who would they want to give up for anything to acquire Reath? You got to remember, this is something we have to think about. It's all coming down to cost at this point. The Knicks have to be comfortable and confident that whoever they give up in a trade, they can get that value back from that player. And a lot of times, it's not going to make sense. So yeah, there are a lot of players in the league right now that the Knicks could trade for, they could get on this roster. It would make sense if the Knicks didn't have to give up a player. That's the tricky part. When you have to give up any piece on this roster, the Knicks wouldn't want to do that because the roster we have right now is very good. We're just really missing that backup center, or potentially, depending on how we want to call it, that starting center for this Knicks team. If you have it, this Knicks team is running through the league. We already know that. But they have to make those right additions. And that's why the trade market may not make sense for the Knicks right now, because there are not a lot of viable options. Nick Richards and Walker Kessler, for me, are two of the best names for two reasons. Their costs might be low, and they don't make a lot. These other trade targets for the Knicks, they make a lot of money. Even though they fit, the Knicks would have to give up significant assets to get them. That's the only reason why I don't think the Knicks make these moves. And then, when we're looking at the free agent market and we're looking who's potentially available there, it's extremely dry, folks. Take a look at this. Beyond Precious Achiuwa, not many viable agents remain. Daniel Dices is teamless, as is Thomas Bryant. Now, Thomas Bryant just re-signed, so he's off the list. So Bryant's off the list. Daniel's still there. Achiuwa's still there. JaVale McGee is unsigned, but he is on the back of his career. He's not really playing, and if he was on a team, he's likely riding the high horse, trying to get a championship. He's not really trying to play significant minutes at this point in time of his career. If that's the case, look at the free agent market. It's dried up. There is nobody that makes sense. Now, the only reason, this is just my opinion here, the only reason the Knicks have not signed Precious Achiuwa yet is because they're still working the phones to make that move, make that trade. They probably still think and believe they can get Walker Kessler or maybe Nick Richards. If they can get any one of those guys, they can get them for a low cost without having to shell out a lot of the significant players on this team. I am backing that. I am all for that, and I hope they make that move. For me, I am leaning more toward Kessler. He's younger, he doesn't make as much, and he could thrive. Talk about impact. He would be phenomenal under Tom Thibodeau. That's another reason why I'm leaning more toward Kessler, and I want the Knicks to trade for him. So that's why I think the Knicks haven't gone out and re-signed Precious Achiuwa to a contract to make him our backup center. Not power forward. I know you guys think he's going to play power forward, but no. If the Knicks re-sign Precious Achiuwa, he will be playing backup center to Mitchell Robinson. Multiple reports have already confirmed that's the Knicks' stance on it. That's another reason why I don't want them to sign Precious Achiuwa right now. I would rather them try to trade for Walker Kessler or another potential big. But if they can't land that trade, if they can't get it done, then by all means, go ahead, re-sign Precious Achiuwa. Because honestly, number one, there's nobody left. And two, if you could add anybody right now, Precious actually makes sense. He understands Thibodeau, understands his role, understands the rotation, the chemistry he had with Jalen Brunson in the pick and roll. He can play offensively. He can play large minutes. He has a back to the basket type of game. He can make shots. He was also even working on his three later on in the season. So he keeps adding to his game, and he's a good piece. He's also a New York native. All of those things considering, the Knicks could do a lot worse than bringing back Precious Achiuwa. So whether it's Achiuwa, Kessler, whoever it is, it's clear. If the Knicks were happy with their depth at center, they wouldn't be doing anything right now. They would be watching the league, looking at free agents they could potentially sign on this team. But what are they doing? They're working the phones. That means they have the same type of belief that some of us in the fan base have. Mitchell Robinson is good, but can you count on him for 82 games and then a postseason? If you enjoyed these clips from the live show, be sure to subscribe to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new episodes or when we go live. Thanks for watching, Knicks fans, and until next time, peace.